NBA star Britney Griner pleaded guilty today to drug charges in a Russian court near Moscow. It came on the second day of her trial. The 31-year-old Olympic medalist was accused of attempting to smuggle less than a gram of cannabis oil into the country. She now faces up to 10 years in prison. Joining us now to break down this big development is University of New Haven professor and lawyer Beth Merkin. Beth, thanks so much for being with us today.
Nice to be here. Thank you for having me.
So obviously some very big news today with Britney Griner pleading guilty. I think a big question that's on all of our minds, why would she do that? Why would she plead guilty?
You know, without knowing exactly the facts surrounding her agreement, I can only make an educated guess that there's something to gain that she will benefit from. I know that there are ongoing negotiations about her return to the United States, and I would imagine that her lawyers, as part of their conversation about a plea agreement, factored into that discussion some agreement or some likelihood that she would be returned to the United States.
Her wife and also her coach have been very outspoken about what has been going on with her. This has been making headlines for weeks, saying this would not happen to American athletes who are male. There's also been growing calls for the president of the United States to help bring her home. She just wrote a letter to him, and he has spoken to her family. What do we know right now about the president's efforts to get her back on U.S. soil?
I think he's trying to accelerate his conversations with the Russian government. Again, I don't think we're privy to all of the details of what those conversations are, but from all accounts and from the timing of this guilty plea today, I think we can infer that there are some productive conversations going on, and maybe the pressure that her wife and family members have put on the president have played a role in that. So I think we're all hopeful that this is coming to a head and going to turn out well for her.
For those not familiar with marijuana and cannabis, I'd have to imagine that less than a gram of cannabis oil is not a significant amount. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, here in Connecticut, I think that probably would be not even a crime. Certainly one would not be held as a pretrial detainee for being in possession of that type of cannabis or hash oil or whatever it was. She's been held for over 5 months, I think. And so here in Connecticut, at least, which is what I can speak to, a person would get what we call a promise to appear. They would not be held, be incarcerated pending their trial like she has been.
Lastly, before you go, Beth, what do you think this means for the relationship between Russia and the U.S.? It's obviously very strained right now, and I'm sure the Russian officials are trying to figure out maybe someone they could trade for Britney Griner.
Right. Yes, again, that's not necessarily my area of expertise, but I have followed the media, and it sounds as though there are conversations between the two government officials to trade Britney Griner for another person who's being held here in our country as a convicted felon. Again, I'm hopeful that whatever conversations that they're having are fruitful and that she is safely returned to the United States. To me, they've gone overboard in the amount of punishment that she's experienced for the crime that she was responsible for.
Absolutely. It's definitely a sad situation, that's for sure. Beth Merkin, University of New Haven, we really appreciate your insight and for being with us this afternoon. Thank you.
It's my pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you so much.